From the director of Mad Max Fury Road and Happy Feet comes a movie that I enjoyed less than both of them. So I watched 3,000 Years of Longing the other day, the new movie from George Miller starring Tilda Swinton and Idris Elba, who stars as a djinn, which is basically a genie who ends up meeting Tilda Swinton, and they get on in an apartment, not like that, to talk about the genie's life story, while Tilda Swinton kind of thinks about her deepest desires to make those three wishes. Awesome premise, awesome director, awesome cast, lackluster result. I said this in my Letterboxd review, link in the description. This is really 3,000 years of flashbacks and narration. Now, at first, the movie is kind of presented, and it kind of stays like a whimsical, mystical fairy tale. So in the beginning, I was like, okay, I'm still not huge on narration, but, in some movies it works. So I was like, okay, I can vibe with this a little bit. It's with that fairy tale stuff. I get it. But, I'm a human who can only take so much. And after, like, the 12th flashback of Idris Elba's backstory, I was like, okay, what the fuck? And I was like, is this all there is going to be? I mean, there are so many flashbacks, okay, to Idris Elba's life story. And I'm sorry, but the stories weren't even that interesting to begin with. I don't know if this makes sense, but it does on my head. The stories are really just like generic genie human stories about how he was like trapped in a bottle and how he broke free. And, I guess I won't spoil it, but that's kind of, you already know where I'm going with that. And honestly, that is my biggest problem with the movie. It is the complete over-reliance of flashbacks. Not even narration that bothers me. It really is the flashbacks, because anytime that you feel locked in and synced into the movie, and I'll talk about the good things because there are good things in here, it would flash back, and I almost just like, I was like sitting up in my seat because I was getting locked in, and then as soon as it flashes back for the 27th time, you like lean back in your chair and you're like, okay. And I know I'm sounding mean. I'm really not trying to, guys. I promise I'm not trying to. And who cares what I think anyways? But it's disappointing because there's great stuff in here, genuinely. The best part about this movie is the cast. Idris Elba and Tilda Swinton, two great actors. When they are just in a room talking to each other, getting deep on the conversation, it really does kind of sing. They were so locked in on each other, and they played off of each other very well, and the chemistry was great, I thought. And then it would cut to a flashback, and it's like, bruh, you just lost all this great momentum that you just built for the movie. Come on. And I really can't help but kind of wish that the movie stayed more locked in on the two characters in the apartment. If this was a more dialogue driven movie, conversational movie, I personally think it would have been better, because while I do enjoy the mystical and whimsical elements of the movie in times, and just of just generic whimsical stuff in movies period, I didn't feel like this movie benefited much from cutting to those flashbacks so often, because they're both great actors, obviously, and like I said, they play off of each other very well. And when the score kicks in, goddamn, the score is excellent, okay? When it does kick in, it is excellent, the type that I want to get on my phone. But like I said, all goodwill that was built up in those moments are completely undercut by a flashback about a story of how he was trapped by a human or whichever. And it happened so much that, like, by the end of the second act, I was like, okay, I'm ready to leave the theater, honestly. I'm ready. This is not like an insanely bad movie, because it's not. There's some good technical elements here. I think the sound design is pretty good, but it is just kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm kind of over this. Now, thankfully, the movie isn't insanely long. It is only about an hour, 40-ish minutes, so I do appreciate that. And I want to reiterate, there are good scenes in this movie. There are sprinkles of good things in this movie, but at the end of the day, that's all they are. They're just sprinkles. And I understand the message of the movie. A lot of genie movies are almost cautionary tales in a way. And I understand it, and I like it. I like the message. But the way the story unfolds, it's hard to really be swayed towards a positive. Really, it's just another movie where the individual scenes are better than the total package. It is good, yummy sprinkles on a bad cupcake, if that makes sense. It does in my head. I unfortunately can't say I really enjoyed it, nor do I really care to go back and rewatch it. I mean, there are good things in here, like I said, but the over-reliance on flashbacks is a total overkill. 3,000 Years of Longing, 2.5 stars. Like I said, the score is great, so there's that. It's okay, though, George Miller. It's okay. I'm sure Furiosa will be back.